Okay, we're live. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn it was 30 years ago today Alex Keaton taught the band to play.
And in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me as always, Mr. Paul Packler. How's it going, Paul?
Oh, gosh, wait, let me put my headphones down. I have to put on my girlfriend's jeans jacket. 1 second.
Yeah, loose up your hair a little bit. Well, while he's doing that, how are you, Corey?
Oh, I'm great. I'm terrific.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There's nothing quite like getting good steam of hostility going early on a Saturday morning and yelling at people.
This is an episode where our nostalgia breaks Corey.
It's 1987, folks. We're in it.
Yeah, we're deep in it.
There are shoulder pads, there are jeans jackets, there's weird girls singing that sounds like they're kind of drunk.
Just to let you know that how different our lives were in 1987. Where were you in 1987, Scott?
What? I'm sorry, Corey, repeat that.
Where were you in 1987? Were you home? Were you in Atlanta?
I was in Atlanta. Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta.
And how old were you at the time?
87, let's see, about 7, 8 years old.
And Paul, where were you?
I was in first grade in Pittsburgh. I was probably 6 years old.
Yeah.
That's 1987.
Yeah.
That was the year my first child was born.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So you were a big Tiffany.
Wow.
You were at the mall following Tiffany from city to city, from Orange County to Irvine.
That would be a period of time in which I did not listen to music.
Right. Or, well, Paul, he might have been on the Debbie Gibson train, too.
That's true. It was one or the other. You had to pick sides. We were at war.
I caught the Debbie Gibson train when she signed on for Beauty and the Beast on Broadway.
I love this period of time because of what was considered dancing, like at those concerts. Like both Tiffany and Debbie Gibson could not dance, so they did like what was it, arm dancing.
A lot of arm dancing,
like the way the band played
down.
made it look really good. So it would go like that was dancing.
Well, it's interesting because they're not great shakes when it comes to singing either, the two of them. So it was interesting that they were both famous for singing and dancing when they could kind of do neither.
That was 1987, Paul.
Should we let our listeners know what our plan was today and how we backed off of our plan for today? Because the episode was, and I'm quoting, give me just one moment here while I find the actual quotes. Here we go. It was, hey, you guys, says Paul Packler, I have to watch the whole episode. This is classic. Scott replies, it's amazing. And
it is.
Paul says, God damn it, we should have picked a different episode to do this. Now, this was our experiment of breaking the show, one of us only watching 8 minutes of an episode and trying to piece it together with each one of us steering the ship for 8 minutes. But Paul Scott thought this episode was such a classic. By the way, for those of you curious out there, I'd like to just give you a few definitions of the word classic. You can tell us later whether you think this is a classic episode. Classic means of or relating to first class or rank. If this episode is a first class episode, somebody should hit me with a fucking mallet. Number 2, exemplary of a particular style. Well, I'll give them a little credit. This is exemplary of the particular style of shitty 80s sitcoms. Exhibiting timeless quality. It was indeed timeless. It was only 24 minutes, and it seemed like 8 hours. Of or pertaining to the ancient Greeks and Romans, Well, just because it had Greeks and Romans, I went and had some feta cheese and some spaghetti just to make it pertain to the ancient Greeks and Romans. And it says traditional, original. Well, the show is very traditional. It's a traditional sitcom. And this show hasn't been original since probably sometime in season 1. So it has nothing to do with being a classic. By the way, for those of you who are playing at home, there are television shows that do have classic episodes. They certainly do exist. When you think Cheers, there's the Thanksgiving episode where they all had a food fight at the end of the episode. It ended up being sort of a very funny classic episode. Mary Tyler Moore, when Chuckles the Clown dies. That's a classic episode of Mary Tyler Moore. Seinfeld, when they're stuck in the parking lot, or when they can't get a table at the Chinese restaurant, or the puffy shirt. Those are all classic episodes. You could walk up to anyone in the street and say, hey, do you remember the puffy shirt episode of Seinfeld? If one of you two can walk up to somebody in the street and say to them, you remember when Jennifer had a fucking band on 55s and the name of the fucking band was the Singing Corporate Raiders and they sang Mr. Sandman from 1937 and a piece of shit 70s song? That's what you watched this morning? That's what you two made me do? Was get up and watch an extra 16 minutes of this fucking teeny third pile?
So it's a classic episode titled Season 5, Episode 20, Band on the Run. Welcome to Quality Time with Family
Ties. We hope you enjoy. So we're in agreement. It's a classic.
I agree. Classic episode.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think, I mean, maybe probably the better word for it is nostalgic for me and Paul.
No, I'm going with classic, Scott. You can do whatever you want. It met the second qualification, which is exemplary of a time.
It's exemplary of a specific time.
This isn't a court case where we have to have, that we have to hit so many benchmarks for it to be true.
Right. We just have one. Yeah, we just hit one and we're good. Yeah.
Wow. This is.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
I'll tell you, before, when we were only watching 8 minutes, I honestly wanted to start by negotiating over how much I had to watch, considering Paul had the first 8 minutes, and that includes the credit. And I wanted to,
and I had credits.
Yeah, I wanted to figure out, I said, hey, I have the second 8 minutes. I'm the only one who's actually watching the 8 minutes. That's not fair for this piece of shit. I wanted to watch 8 minutes, and he made me watch more than the 8 minutes.
Corey, I did not expect this to happen today either. But I'm with Paul because as we're watching, I was so happy. Oh, 8 minutes just flew by. I was like, this felt great. And we're watching. It's like, rest of this episode. I kind of want to finish and talk about it with you guys. And so, yeah, it was. We picked the wrong episode.
I was gonna say, in my 8 minutes, I don't think I got any songs.
Well, yeah, so you got the crap.
In that case, you're welcome, Corey.
Yeah, what are you complaining about?
I know. I shouldn't complain. I just realized I only had to watch the songs this morning. I don't think I saw any songs because I think the first song is in the first 8 and the second song is in the last 8.
Yeah, it is. But you got a lot of Mr. Sandman, didn't you?
Oh, I sure did. A lot of Mr. Sandman.
So I understand. You got the rough part. Okay.
But we're still talking about another episode in which Alex P. Keaton acts like a megalomaniac, and he's going to steamroll his sister and her friends and take 85% of the money that they're making.
Right. So premise of this episode is classic.
You're going to ask what while you're ahead, Scott.
Classic meaning we've seen this not 8 times before?
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
What was the other episode where this happened? Where Jennifer, was there her history paper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her history report. Yes. Where she took over the report. He took over the report, and we wanted her to do it. Remember, he had the big boom box, and it was a big class project that he was orchestrating for her.
Right. And then she ended up doing that performance in front of everybody, and she gave up.
Right.
So
yeah, and there also was kind of like earlier on the base. It kind of had a resemblance of the baseball episode where he's managing the team a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you would call in improv an analogous
Yes.
scene or
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
So yeah, how does this start? It starts with a B plot that I thought was rather funny in the way that it was developed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I
It kind
wrong?
of worked.
At this point, I can't trust my own opinion anymore. I can only say, that's funny, right?
You know what? I actually agree with you. I thought this was a relatively amusing B plot.
Yes, it felt like something that came from probably Gary David Goldberg's life. One of those things where it's like his kids annoyed him because of X, and now he's going to bring it in on Monday and say, we're going to do a part about this.
Right.
Mallory's
yeah.
doing something for class, and she starts putting her clothes in Steven's closets and then moving Steven's clothes all around the house.
Yeah, she's actually taking like fashion classes at college now, which is kind of good to see. And she has like, I guess she has like a designing project that she has to do, which requires her making like a bunch of dresses. And so it's taking up space in all the Keaton household. And she's picked Steven out because as she kind of says, well, you're at the age where it doesn't matter how you look anymore. And so that's why she's targeted Steven to use his closet space.
And throughout this episode, Mallory is wearing some of the 80s-ist clothing I've ever seen. Her jacket could fit the three of us together. It's that big around her thin frame.
Yeah. And I kind of liked how they wrote Steven this episode. I'm not saying we're looking at Steven the same way again, but I like that he didn't like get all anxiety, upset and everything. Like he just kind of went with it and eventually by the end accepted it.
Yes.
Which was funnier.
Long-suffering dad is a funny character.
It is.
Just like Corey when we tell him to watch whole episodes after we tell him that he doesn't have to.
Exactly.
Yes.
I agree. I think long-suffering dad is a very good thing. And him enduring something that inconveniences him, and it gave him sort of a slow burn throughout the entire episode.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
angry at how silly this was, of how he couldn't figure out the mapping of his clothing, where everything was.
It's like the vacation movies with Chevy Chase, the first one and the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Where you just have a fun time watching him trying to keep everything on even keel and see how everything blows up around him.
Right. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger as it goes on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stay at one level. Yeah. So we have that happening at the beginning, and then Alex comes in, and he is needing the band for Leland's like homecoming, like a homecoming event or some event.
Some event. How is Alex, assistant bank manager Alex, full-time college student Alex, big brother to three Alex? How is Alex P. Keaton so involved with every? He always seems to be in some management position of control at college.
He's the Jared Kushner of the 80s.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He wears a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just nice for me that they even mention the fact that Alex is still in college.
Just as a reminder.
We've kind of forgotten that a little bit.
Like 2.5 seasons ago, we were so excited of all the plot lines that would open up with him going to college, and it's like, oh, hey, remember he's even there?
Yeah. Honestly, Paul, for a second, I was like, oh yeah, Alex is out in the world now.
Yeah.
But you're right. Nope. And it kind of ended when they got rid of Ellen.
Yeah.
Like once Ellen was gone, the college was gone too.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so the band that he had that was scheduled to perform at this event has backed out, and he's needing to audition a new band. And this makes Jennifer come up to him and say, "Could I have a band? Can we audition for you?" Which is something we have never heard about before. We've never even heard about. Have we ever heard Jennifer play an instrument or interested in playing an instrument or anything, singing? Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Like until now, I didn't even think she liked listening to music.
Well, until now, she was spending all her time raising Andrew.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Right.
Now she's an empty nester. Someone else has taken over that.
she's kind of like Elise when she wanted to go back to folk singing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so reluctantly, Alex agrees to let her band audition her. Is he in high school yet?
Yes, she is in high school.
Ninth grader?
Before we hear her band, the Permanent Waves audition.
Oh yes, the Permanent Waves.
We do hear the polka band audition before. Did either of you guys watch the drummer in the polka band?
I did.
He was going crazy a little bit.
He was like, I don't want to ever get hired on television again. I'm going to.
And he was part of a group of extras who I believe all didn't ever want to get hired again. Because another group of horrendous extras who were trying to jockey for position once Jennifer's band came on.
Oh, here. For 1 second. Oh, jeez. What does that sound? It sounds like the thing that the giant makes Dale Cooper listen to in the first episode of Twin Peaks. You know, that part that you loved so much where it just goes...
I may have been dozing. It's almost sure that I was dozing.
Yeah.
That was like a hypnotism.
Did I tell you, Corey, that I watched all 4 episodes twice now?
Because you're still trying to find some meaning in it?
No, I love it. I think it's great. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Don't get attached. It ain't coming back.
Oh, you think they canceled it after 4 episodes?
Oh no, I mean don't get attached after this whatever season it is. It's over.
Oh yeah, I think this is just like a movie practically. It's just like this is it and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, everything all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Just had to help Henry with something.
Gotcha. Corey, do you want to just pick it back up with talking about the extras?
You see the polka band drummer was going crazy, and he was only part of a group of people who were going crazy. The other extras were insane as well. There was one guy that reminded me, you know, the shot this week at the NATO conference of Trump pushing some president from some country out of the way so that he's in front of the pack. There was an extra who did the same thing. He pushed someone out of the way so he could get in front and watch Jennifer's band.
That's awesome. I didn't catch that.
No, I didn't see
and
that
they
part.
were all doing really active listening. You know when extras do active listening? Where it looks like, hey, most of us just fucking listen. They're doing like... Listening is a very passive thing, people. You can be passive doing something passive. It's all right.
For an episode that features so much music, nobody played an instrument.
Yeah, all the actors in that are Jennifer's bandmates, not one of them knows how to play an instrument either. So it's not just the extras. No one in Southern California back in the 80s knew how to play instruments.
And then, you know, in the same scene, after we get this horrible drummer for the poker band, and then we get these horrible extras, we then get a performance from the magnificent Mark Price that I have zero explanation for. Did anybody even direct him in this episode and just tell him to stop stealing focus?
This is peak Skippy of just, I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to do the dumbest thing I can think of.
That's what happened, and it happened consistently whenever he was on screen in this episode.
Yeah. You know what would have been amazing is if they just cast Eddie Deason instead of Mark Price, even when it would have been age inappropriate. You know, he's 30 years old. Mallory's 15 in season 1. I don't care. I just want Eddie Deason as Skippy.
Yeah, in a
classic episode, he is the one part of the rug that is the imperfection to prove that God is the only thing that can make something perfect.
And really, you have to believe like the director loved what he was doing because they also include him on the Mr. Sandman numbers. Like he has to pop in as Mr. Sandman. Corey, what were your thoughts on the song from Permanent Waves?
Their
Mr.
audition.
Sand?
Yeah.
No, their audition.
Oh, their audition song. That was horrendous. It was horrendous. Teeny Brothers was horrendous singing the song. It wasn't good. It's not a good song. The girls looked like they were idiots playing in a band. Looked like the Archies.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a couple things. First off, members of the band include, it's a 4-part band, the Permanent Waves. You got Jennifer, who's singing lead. On guitar, you have Rainbow Phoenix, Joaquin and River Phoenix's sister.
Oh, I did not know that.
Christina Applegate is playing the keyboards and the shoulders because she is just shouldering out the whole time.
While playing the keyboards, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, you're doing two opposite movements. Like you need to push down, but she's also going up.
Yeah. It's impressive.
Hey, try it at home. It's tough. And then playing drums, we have no idea. Some girl who looks 5 years younger than the rest of them.
Right, but that's like most drummers. You know, you never don't care about.
That's
the
true. Keith Moon was younger than everybody.
That's true. That's true.
Ringo Starr was older than everybody.
Huh. They were trying to kind of, I guess, go in between a little bit.
Yeah, the Permanent Waves. Halfway in between the Who and the Beatles.
Yeah. If you guys are listening, check out. I think you can find the song on YouTube and everything. It's very Debbie Gibson, Tiffany era mall tour kind of music. And and because Corey, in 1987, there were no good songs. There was no good music made in 1987. If you know of a good song made in 1987, please tweet us. Corey's looking up.
Secret of My Success? I don't know. The one that was
Walking on Sunshine?
Yeah, Katrina and the Waves.
Not the Permanent Waves, but Katrina and the Waves. Waves were big in 87.
What is a permanent wave?
Is it like a hairstyle? I think it was a hairstyle, right?
Is it?
I think that was a style in the 80s of like, I'm going to get a permanent wave done in my hair. For some reason, that's what it sounds like.
Scott, you just keep saying the word over and over. That's not going to necessarily win me to your argument. Like, look, you just keep saying, I think it's a hair thing. A permanent wave, Paul. Because when you have a permanent wave, look, it's worked for this administration so far. I'm just going to keep repeating my argument with no evidence to back anything up. All right, you got it.
I'll have some.
All right, enough. It is. It's a haircut.
I honestly do think it's like like getting a perm or something back in the 80s.
But just the front of your hair.
Yeah, like a crimp or something. Yeah.
I don't believe you for 1 second.
You don't believe?
I really don't.
Corey, can you look this up? A permanent wave is a hairstyle.
This is captivating podcasting right now.
Oh yeah. Well, he looks it up. Okay. All right. Corey will be looking up. We'll that way he has something to do because he hated this episode.
All I'll say is I really liked this first song, the song that is the famous song, and I use famous in quotation marks at the end of the episode. Baby, I'm Back in Love Again. I didn't enjoy as much as the first song.
A permanent wave, we usually refer to a woman getting a perm.
Which
would be hair?
That is short for permanent wave. A perm is short for permanent wave. Putting in curls. It is a hairstyle.
I really shouldn't be this happy that I know about women's hairstyles this much, but I'll take it.
I applaud you, and I apologize, Scott Jones.
Apology accepted. Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. I like the first song way better.
And you know who else liked the song? Alex P. Keaton and the crowd. Everyone thought this was an amazing song, and Alex has a hot idea.
To not do the song. Don't do the song everyone loved. Let's take it back to a 1950s song that we can sell to old people. As much as it was a fun episode, but I have so many questions.
Shoot, what's your first one?
My first one is okay. So they get the gig. Alex becomes their manager,
And
then he a manager and agent, which I think by today's standards that's illegal now, isn't it, Corey? You can't be a manager and an agent.
That's correct.
Yeah. But
this was the episode.
Okay.
This was the episode that convinced the National Labor Relations Board to investigate whether you can gouge someone at being their manager and agent. This is actually an historic episode.
Yeah. One might also say classic.
Yeah, it's a time capsule.
Like, yeah. This
I'm sorry, Scott, that I doubted you about permanent wave. I'm very sorry about that. I feel remorse.
Is that what I sound like? I sound like Mr. Ed?
I'm very sorry, Scott. Corey, that's ass. I made you watch 60 minutes of a piece of shit. But Scott, you Scott, I apologize.
What is this voice?
That I know about hairstyles, and I'm sorry. But Corey, why don't you watch the outtakes from the show? The show you hated. Watch a few more minutes of it. Watch the extra stuff on YouTube. And then report back to us.
Oh my God. I don't need this abuse.
I think you do.
In Corey's defense, he doesn't do imitations. So.
Right.
Yeah. He just goes for whatever voice is on hand.
Oh, dear sweet God. This show was so bad. And I'm sitting there thanking God that I'm only watching 8 minutes of it. And I was thinking, wow.
We totally screwed you over, Corey.
Just when you thought you were out, they suck you back in.
Because this was supposed to.
I'm going to see The Godfather tomorrow on the big screen at the Chinese.
Oh, is it playing? Oh, I would love it.
It's at the Chinese tomorrow. We got tickets. So we're going with and I've not been able to get Logan to watch Godfather on television.
Why? Does he get bored?
Yeah, trying to find it without commercial breaks. Also trying to find these days just The Godfather. All the cable stations run The Godfather Epic, which is the 2 movies combined, and you start with Godfather 2, and then you go to Godfather 1, then you go back to Godfather 2 again.
Yeah.
And you get too much of De Niro and the Italian at the beginning of the movie so that it comes real slow, as opposed to Godfather 1, where you have the scene in the office and then you're at the wedding for 20 minutes and then it's really explosive.
Yeah, right. I feel like that epic version is for people who have watched the 2 movies so much that it's a nice reappraisal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would never recommend someone watch that who hasn't seen the 2 movies already.
And that's why it's like, wow, we've never even gotten to anything in Godfather 1 by watching the epic before he was bored. So when these friends said, hey, Godfather is screening on the big screen at the big theater at the Chinese, and it was like, oh, I haven't been to the Chinese in 30 years either, which is always a fun theater to go to because it's such a lovely place. Yeah. So we'll see Godfather tomorrow.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Tell Logan, watch it as an actor, keep his acting hat on, and just watch what everybody does.
Watch the actors, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
So
Pacino in the dinner scene is amazing.
Oh, incredible!
Such a good scene. Okay, so we have Alex reinventing this band that everyone loved to begin with, and now he wants to make them like the Andrews Sisters and sing Mr. Sandman.
I love the Andrews.
And they're going
Sisters, but I don't know if this is the best idea, Alex.
Nah, this is where my questions begin. And they have a tour with one song, it seems.
Well, I watched and love a movie called That Thing You Do, where they have a whole tour based around one song.
Right.
The train tour that they go on, the great Amtrak train tour of Ohio.
Right. And this comes right on the heels of the hour-long clip show that we just watched, where they don't know how to edit clips. Meanwhile, they do this high-concept black and white where there's multiple windows. of seeing Alex in one sort of cigarette hole, and then you got Skippy dancing, the girls singing on a train. It's like Star Wars meets a newsreels from the 40s. It's
Some
crazy.
Like It Hot all of a sudden is what occurred to me. It was like, where's Marilyn Monroe? Oh my goodness, all the musicians on the train.
Yeah.
Are we ignoring the fact that these girls are in 9th grade and are due back in home economics on Monday morning?
It's and you know what? For like, we're gonna agree to disagree on how they sound on these songs that are recorded. But when they sing Mr. Sandman, they sound like teenage girls at karaoke night who can't sing. They sound so bad singing Mr. Sandman, I don't even know what to do with myself.
Do you think they picked Mr. Sandman because of Back to the Future?
I would assume so.
That was my guess.
That was my guess too.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't like. It feels like they're playing it like old man country clubs kind of thing, or some like what venues are they playing it?
You say that, Scott, but then once we get out of that montage scene, we come back and it turns out that they had just performed at the what the hell was it? I wrote it down. Columbus State Prison.
I did not catch that.
That Alex P. Keaton booked his minor sister and her 16-year-old friends to perform for inmates.
Okay. I have like 18 new questions now.
There you go. That's 2 more than the illegality of 16.
My mind has now just been blown with, oh dear God.
Well, on that note, let's take a break because around there, somewhere in there is a commercial break.
Yeah, I got to recover a little bit here.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Bum 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 bum. Mr. Pepper. Bring us some. We know you hate this. We're so glad you watched.
Bum 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 bum. Yeah, this was Corey's. Well, we scanned over Corey's part of the episode. He got subjected to all the Mr. Sandman.
Yeah, so this is your middle 8, Corey. What kind of stuff did you have?
Well, here we are. We're in the living room, and Steven is looking for a blazer now on the front porch. And as he's looking for his blazer on the front porch, Mallory bursts in announcing that she got an A on her fashion project. So Steven's going to get his closets back now that the project is over. The Waves come in, and they admit to Alex that they want to play their own music. Jennifer says, in what I thought was perhaps the funniest line of the whole episode, we're tired of looking like we're trying to raise money for war bonds. I thought that
great line.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
And then she says, we want to have fun. And Alex goes, you can have fun during your retirement. You don't have to have fun now. And then there's a weird pervy moment. Isn't there a weird pervy moment? Oh no, that was in another scene. I'm seeing it. My notes are all pervy moment. Yeah, there was a pervy moment. But sometime when Steven was changing on the front porch and a whole bunch of girls walked by, there was something pervy that happened earlier.
Oh yeah, that came, because they're coming down the stairs and he's coming back.
That was the pervy moment that happened earlier. And believe it or not, that's sort of the end of my 8 minutes. Is Alex guilt trips the Waves into, I've worked my fingers to the bone for you, and this is the appreciation I get that you girls want to go off on your own and do your own thing. And that's really, and then we sort of fade out of that scene to Elise and Steven dancing the polka back at the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the name that Alex has given them is now the Swinging Corporate Raiders, which I don't know. I kind of like that as a name better than Permanent Waves. Don't you guys?
A little bit.
I mean, it's a little bit too ironic for the type of music that Jennifer and her company write and do. It feels a little bit more like a 90s band, but I don't know. I like that name. I think it's funny.
It could be a good 90s punk band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, we're at the biggest gig that they've had. We don't know exactly how long they've been performing together, doing Mr. Sandman and stuff. But now they're at the gym and they're playing, and Elise and Steven are dancing to a polka, and then Andy cuts in.
Hey, Andy cut in because Mallory forced him to cut in. If you didn't see that, he wasn't picking up his cue, and she had to unleash him and tell him to go in. That kid's a retard, and I'm sorry I'm using that word. I apologize.
Wow. For a second, I was like, Corey, you didn't watch this part. But then I was like, oh, wait.
We had to make one.
This part. I almost avoided my weekly diatribe about Andy. But every week, he's not learning jack shit. He knows how to round the corner to exit. That's what he knows. I know how to run away from the scene. God forbid he should have to, hey, Andrew, at this point, go over and cut in and ask if you can dance with your mother. No, I'm not. Hey, Justine, will you make sure that Brian cuts in? Oh, sure, no problem, director. And that's how it happened.
I'm feeling bad now we made Corey watch this whole thing.
I mean, it wasn't we could have done nicer things, but we
didn't. Well, I mean, this was supposed to, after 6 episodes of some of the most painful episodes that we've watched, this was supposed to be a nice little break. It was just 8 minutes. And we kind of screwed Corey on that.
And can you tell me what Skippy's doing during Sandman in this scene?
Oh, there's the one moment where I'm sorry, no, when he's dancing during the audition, he's like the guy in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, where he's just there to dance. And then all of a sudden, they never recorded an ending for the audition song when they were in the studio with Tina Yothers. And so Mark Price is there on stage right, and he's kicking and flailing, and he sort of mimes kicking the amp, which then stops the song. I don't know if you've ever kicked an amp before. That's not really how it works.
It doesn't stop the song.
No.
But yeah, and so this all builds up to the girls walk out of their performance of Mr. Sandman, and they want to come back and do their song.
Well, it's funny because before this scene, they're backstage and Alex is giving them a pep talk, and none of these girls are having his bullshit. And then Tina Yothers is like, "You suck. I don't know why you make us do this all the time." And he's like, "Well, I'm just a dickhead. What can I say?" But back upstage of Tina Yothers and Alex P. Keaton is a cigar store Indian. I was like, what are we doing here? What are we trying to pull?
I gotta give some credit to Tina Yothers. She I'm loving her character more and more because she's the one that kind of doesn't put up with Alex's bullshit as much. She kind of cuts to the quick with him on everything.
That's very true. When given the opportunity, she does hold his feet to the fire in a way that the other characters never are really given the opportunity to do. Nick would never say something like this.
Nick wouldn't, Mom wouldn't, Mallory wouldn't. It's really cool to see that they have and I wish they used it more because she's doing some great. Her and Mallory are both doing great work in this episode.
Yes. Yeah, Mallory is very funny in her B plot.
Mm-hmm. She has gotten funnier and funnier with very little, and I would love more. A better, stronger episode with just her.
Corey, I was trying just now to look up who wrote the songs that Tina Yothers sings, and I'm a little bit too lazy to do it as we're talking. But you said before we started recording that there was something on IMDb that you wanted to read.
There was. It was very funny. Somebody trolled. You know how there's trolls all over the interwebs.
I've never heard that.
In fact, troll is usually all over the interwebs. But this person, I'm trying to find this, wrote on this episode. I got to go to the episode guide and find what somebody wrote here. Episode 5, season 5. Where are we? Episode 21. Somebody wrote reviews and commentary.
Okay.
says, a 16-year-old Christina Applegate struts her stuff here as a member of the younger Keaton sisters band. What a little cutie. She was always so beautiful. The rest of the episode consists of the typical insipid nonsense. Same old stuff where everything is resolved quickly and easily and nothing goes beyond any depth or level or profundity. Just a bunch of the same old stuff like in every episode. Worst of all is having to watch Teeny Yothers, who by this point has turned into a bona fide Sasquatch, trying to pout and make cutesy faces while she sings off in the band she fronts. Her head is bigger than any two cast members combined. Jesus fucking Christ.
Holy
No. Whoa.
wow. They had me at the top, and then I was just like, whoa. That turned a corner real quick.
The person's working out some stuff. Now, do you think that this? Now, you guys know that later on, Tina Yothers does go on to front a real life band.
Yes.
I think I was looking at I think she had two. The one that I kept finding was the band she did with her brother called Jaded. And then, but before that, I could have sworn she had a band called Magic, which was like very emo gothy.
Okay.
So it's just interesting. I was wondering if like they were like the purpose of this episode was also to launch her into that Tiffany Debbie Gibson.
Well, that seems very apparent. That just the sound of the music, the style of the songs that were written sound right. Because I was listening to them before the show started. To Tiffany and Debbie Gibson, and this fits right in there. I've never seen Family Ties be so with its finger on the pulse of what's actually happening culturally.
Yeah.
But Corey, you were saying something, a theory that you had before we started about how Teeny Yothers might have been pushing for this the whole time.
Yeah, it just seemed like, we've always been talking this season about how her whole purpose this season has been raising Andrew, and that most of the time she enters with Andrew and then exits with him almost immediately because they need to get the kid off stage because he's irritating. And so she's really been given short shrift this season. And it just seemed to me that this was something that she does have a band in real life and that she was begging, oh, can I sing? Can't my band play? Can't we do something? And then they finally give it to her. And it just seems like they gave her enough rope to hang herself in this episode, that they gave her so much to do with singing and acting and the whole plot and everything, and that she almost couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I really think in watching this episode, she seems a lot more uncomfortable than she ever did in other episodes. There seems like she seems just overwhelmed at times.
Yeah. I also wonder if there was like more writing on this episode. Like I wonder if like her management was like, okay, you're going to perform the song on the show, and then we're going to try to get the reaction and try to sell it as a single, and maybe we'll line up some mall tour for you to kind of get you out there. Like, we're going to spin you off in this direction too.
Yeah.
Which might have been part of the pressure that was on her for this episode.
Right. And so as they go on stage and they sing Mr. Sandman with the polka band backing them up, Jennifer just storms off mid-song to stage left, where Alex happens to just be standing on stage with them, and says, I'm done, with no energy whatsoever. She's just like, I'm done. I'm going to... And then she just turns and walks off stage. And everyone just follows her. And then Alex, Michael J. Fox, his singing ability is always the worst.
Oh, it's the worst.
He finishes Mr. Sandman and then follows them off stage.
And then we kind of have...
point, we see the band are all wearing jeans jackets over their Andrew sisters' dresses, and I go, hey, something's going on here.
I think they're up to something. And I mean, it's at this point that we kind of have the quintessential makeup scene of explaining, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done this, the lesson we learned, and then they're gonna go out on stage and rock.
Do they ever?
Do they? Can we talk about how this last scene was filmed? With like
the video, the music, the 80s music video that they were trying to shoot.
it looked like, yeah, it's like they were trying to do that, but they kept it. It went back from like 80s music video to sitcom, 80s music video to sitcom, and it was really jarring.
Yeah, it was like the Larry Sanders Show, where it kept going from video to film.
Right. Yeah. I was like, who's shooting this thing? And they seem to like want to make a big point of showing like the girls actually playing their instruments when clearly that they wasn't, but they wanted to try to give the impression that they are playing. Because they had the over-shoulder shot of the drums. Yeah.
Rain Phoenix, who plays the guitar, she has no idea how to make a chord.
No, she just keeps her hand in one place pretty much the whole time.
And so they sing the song that is the infamous song, "Baby, I'm Back in Love Again."
You all know it.
It's pretty awesome. I love that song. I was dancing to it when we started.
Who hasn't?
And yeah, that's it. There isn't really even much of a denouement. It's just them playing the song all the way through. The audience claps, and then credits.
All right. And then Tina Yothers goes on to sell million singles of this, right?
Well,
goes on a
you know
tour.
what? I feel like if we can ask really nicely, because I know that Barbara and Bryant don't like including copywritten music in a show. So I'm going to appeal right now to them both. Please, I'm going to send you a link to "Baby, I'm Back in Love Again," and you could just play it right here. So if you're listening and they're playing it right now, then you won't be listening to this.
Enjoy.
And if not, if you're playing all of this right now, it means they refused.
Yeah.
Probably for very understandable reasons. They probably would look into making it happen. And that's it, guys. Okay, so wrapping up, Corey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we made you go through it.
I accept your apology.
Okay.
Is there a two-parter that starts next week?
Is it "Hey, my name is Alex"?
We have one more regular episode before "Hey, my name is Alex."
Yep. And then
you built "Hey, my name is Alex" up so high that it can only disappoint and destroy me.
It's going to be horrible, but it's going to be great.
I can't wait.
I know.
I
know. Well, for questions and comments, please be sure to email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. You can also look for updates on the show on Twitter at Qtwft. Each of us is also on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
I'm at Corpep.
And be sure to like our Facebook page. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is an online conglomerate of geek media providing its readers with daily interviews and insights into the geek pop culture spectrum. Be sure to check out everything they do. We'd like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the theme song Without Us. Be sure to check out Perry Adams' music at perryadams.com. We'd like to thank Brian Dillon, Fanbase Press's president, who also edits our show. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer, who designed our logo. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
La, la, la.